Pig for Life. In today's P4L review, we'll be taking a look at the newest release from X-Transbot Toys in their Master X series. This is their MX-XIII Berserkars Scout Crackup. So this is obviously part of their Venusaur group, the Berserkars. In any case, this is their version of Breakdown. You see from the box, they have I think they have a new artist doing it. I don't know who it is, but they have their signature down here somewhere. But yeah, this is their breakdown, and they always have some weird code. When you're in your lane, there's no traffic. Okay, I don't know what that means. They do have on the other side the kind of G1-ish stats that you can, if you had a piece of red cellophane, you can decode, as well as the bio here. I'm not going to bother reading that. Nothing really on the back. I'm guessing that this will combine, because you really don't see anything here, except kind of a, I guess, silhouette, electric silhouette of him. I'm guessing what this will be when you actually combine them together is they'll all form their Venusaur. And on the bottom you get a pic of their alt mode. Yeah, so no real product shots, which is kind of interesting. Anyway, out of packaging, you get a few things. First, it comes packaged in sandwich styrofoam, which is nostalgic as always. You get his stat or bio card. As you can see here, it's also wrapped in plastic. Can you focus? Alright. Yeah, same artwork. I didn't even bother taking it out of the plastic protector. And you can see the instructions here, which are super tiny. Yeah, they're pretty decent, and unlike most, I guess most people feel that their transformations are a little bit hairy or difficult. This one's actually quite easy, I would say. So let's go ahead and open up there. Oh, had them upside down. Open up here. You get a gun, as well as one alternate face, if I can get it. So here's Crackup out of packaging. Speaking of paint, that's probably my least favorite thing about this figure is the paint job, or at least paint color that they actually selected. I know it's supposed to be kind of like an off-white. Mine looks more peach colored than off-white. Like, if it was ivory, I think I would be okay with it. I really would have preferred just a pure white. I think kind of like DX9s. I think, honestly, that's what they were kind of going for in the cartoon animation, not this kind of weird, never would see a Lamborghini in this kind of color ever, weird color. But I guess they could also be going with the toy. But anyway, doing the quick 360 finishing off, you can see on the back here. But the paint job itself is quite nice overall. They did pretty good color matching everywhere. The black lines are pretty clean. The red line here is clean. The yellow Lamborghini symbol, which you can't see the symbol, but you can see the shape itself is clean. The silver paint on the headlights are the only messy part for me. But the blue is really nice, and everything has kind of a metallic flake in it. Even the windshield does, so that's really nice. I really like what they did with that there. On the bottom, you can see it's actually pretty clean. No real robot mode parts showing at all. So yeah, great job on the alt mode. His weapon that he comes with is a handgun. It folds up, but I don't know where it's supposed to store like this, folded up. I have no idea. But you can fold the handle down like this and plug the gun in right there. Like so. And then he also has an alternate face. Let's see if we can zoom in and have it focus a bit. Can it focus? Can it focus? It's not wanting to focus very well. Anyway, this gives you an idea. I think it looks a little bit better than the stock face, which I think is pretty generic X-Transbot face design. All right, let's move these off to the side. So a couple things. He does have rubber wheels and the Lamborghini Countach kind of classic rims with the 5 circles here. I don't have any of my Lambos in alt mode, unfortunately, so I'm not gonna go ahead and transform those, but as always, I'll bring out my Streak, and they scale really well together. I think Jack might have done a comparison, Jack at Toy Dojo. he might have done a really nice comparison with some of the other Lambos. But overall, I really like the alt mode. But let's go ahead and get into transformation. He's pretty easy. There are a couple things that you need to be careful of or be wary of when you do it. So I'll point these out as we go, especially when you get back, because there are a few things that you need to do to make sure everything gets into place. So the first thing we'll do is we'll actually come here, and there's two small sections that swivel up. Just try to get your nail in between there like that. Next thing we'll do is come back here, and you want to untab this. I find that a little difficult to do with your fingers. You can use the spudger tool if you want to kind of just loosen it up, or if you go ahead and just kind of mess with these next pieces, they kind of tend to shimmy out on their own. You straighten these out, and then you want to kind of pull this piece, which is tabbed into that side. This usually ends up shimmying itself out anyway, so it's not a big deal, and it's not such a tight tab that you're going to damage anything. So once you kind of get these out of the way, the first thing I like to do is kind of untab this. So these side pieces here kind of come out like that. And then on the front door, I'm going to untab here and here. Like there. And then before I go further, I like pulling this piece out. So you just pull back on this hinge and you'll get the entire rear section up. From here, we're going to go ahead and pull out these legs and the feet that kind of hide in the cabin or whatever, and get it folded down like so. So what we'll do here is these knees are telescoping, and you got to make sure that this gap here aligns with that. You just go to close that up. We'll just do that on both sides really quickly because it kind of locks things into place. And then we'll work with these sections. So the first thing we'll do is we'll tilt the foot out like that. You want to close up the window. There's another like sliding piece, slide that up, around, and then back down. And you want to make sure this is all the way back down because it kind of frictions this piece into place. Sorry, not the other way around. And then the foot comes up like so, and you're good there. Lastly, you'll do with these shin pieces. You're going to want to flip open this piece, flip open this piece like so, and then this piece that was that way, you're going to bring it around. So when you fold this shin piece into place, you'll close this up. You'll see that kind of sit on top of there. And then on this side, this tabs in here. And that's it. I wish they had another folded out piece, like if this was a double piece that folded out and filled in this hole, but it's not actually too bad. My biggest complaint is with this not tabbing it anywhere on the top. So you flip the foot out like this, close this down, again on this side, flip this up, around, and telescope it down. Dealing with the shin pieces, like that. Remember to bring this down on this pin piece at the top, close this closed, close that closed. Lastly, flip the thighs over 180 degrees, and you're done with the lower body. Mid body, you want to rotate at the waist, and then we're actually going to start working at the top here. So let me scoot that up. The first thing we'll do is untab up here, and then you can bring this back. So what you're supposed to do, these things are supposed to flip down like this. This piece folds down like that, and you'll see that little bumper piece has a couple of tabs here that it kind of sits into. It doesn't really tab into place. Rotate the spoiler around 180 degrees like that. The car front, you're going to want to extend very gingerly like so. Flip this back like that. Fold in these pieces here. Just kind of sit like this for now, and these are going to come around like that. We'll deal with this later because you're going to need to get the head in place. Next up, let's deal with the arms first. So the arms are tabbed in to this kind of arm piece here, but also these black sections next to the wheels are pegged in as well, circular pegs. And I didn't mention this before, but they do have nice rubber wheels that spin with the classic Lamborghini Countach kind of tires. Anyways, coming to the side, we're going to extend on these sets of hinges. Let's go ahead and take care of the arms. Just straighten the arms out and collapse them in on themselves like so. Rotate the fist 90 degrees. Same thing on this side. Close it around like so. All right. Next, these like oblique pieces on the side, you want to rotate them a little bit, and you'll see these little blue die-cast pieces here. You want to fold these out. Clearly way too high here. And you're going to want to rotate the entire piece around to reveal the white side here. And you want to have these aligned so this hook piece kind of hooks down and secures the shoulders into place. Like so. Once that's done, flip down the chest like that. You're going to want to compact the torso on the sliding joint. That'll allow you to tab this section in completely. This head section here just closes up like that. And you'll see down here there's a little peg on the bottom part of that. You're going to use that to go in here. But before we do that, we need some space fillers. These little kind of trapezoid pieces here will open up like that. So when you collapse this in, you're going to want to pull up on the head just a little bit. And then get that little peg in, push down on that, and you're all set. The thing with the backpack is it doesn't really tab into place anywhere. I thought this was supposed to tab in really securely, but I don't see that being how it's supposed to work. I mean, it looks like it kind of does, but I don't think that's the intended design. But what you want to do is, because there's a sliding joint here, you can see that pin right here. I think what you want to do is have it collapsed all the way back, and then that allows you to compact the backpack as much as possible. And again, making sure that this piece tabs in here, and then these pieces just kind of rest on top. Again, it kind of looks like these are supposed to tab, but I haven't been able to get them to actually do so. And watching the 598 Robots, the designer's video, it doesn't seem like that's the intention either. Maybe it was at some point, but it really doesn't work out that way. And there we go. There we have Crackup in his robot mode. So getting into robot mode review, let's start with 360. And you can see he looks the part, especially from the front. From the back, you do get a little bit of backpack here. I have an alternate transformation for this piece here. So this is how it's supposed to be as far as the instructions go. I like to flip them out because I think it's a little bit less distracting, and this makes it a little more unicolor. And even from the front, this black piece actually blends in pretty well there, but it's up to you. I like how the spoiler is positioned accurately, because they even included this kind of spinning mechanism to make it a little bit more accurate. The legs are a little bit open. I wish there was something to cover this up, but it's not terrible. The DX9 does a better job here for sure. As far as other things you can do, again, you do get that alternate face. And again, the face here isn't bad. It's just that it's so generic, and it looks like every other face that X-Transbots tends to do, or at least this designer tends to do. To replace it, you want to go in here and get a really small Phillips head, like maybe a 0, or this is a 00. You need to unscrew this first, and that will free it up so that you can take out the face here. You're going to want to pull up on the chin, and it slides down like so. We'll just wiggle out the purple colored eyes. Replace it on the new face. Come on. There we go. You're going to go do a kind of upwards motion like this, pushing the face back in. And then if you can manage it, get that small screw right back in the head. Yeah, you gotta remember to undo the screw first. Otherwise you're gonna damage your figure. So it's a smaller face, but I think I prefer it over the stock face. Alright. So that's really it for his robot mode. I was trying to see if there was maybe any other storage for his gun, but I couldn't figure anything else out. Like, there's really not really many options for this to tab it anywhere. I know some of the other figures that are coming out will have a tab there or something like that. Let me do a quick comparison with MP-10. There we go. Here he is next to Prowl. So it's a really nice scale. I would say it's about head-to-head with MP Prowl. Going through articulation, his head is on a mushroom joint, so it swivels around like that, and a pin joint, so you get some decent up and down. His shoulders, they are on a swivel, I guess a mushroom peg. They are ratcheted going up and down, which is kind of nice. I do find that these clips don't do a great job holding everything into place, especially on at least on mine, on the right, his left arm, but it's fine. Rotate at the bicep, double jointed elbows, and a wrist swivel. His hands are MP style, so all 4 fingers are on one pin joint. He does have an ab crunch, which is nice. He does have a waist swivel. It is somewhat obstructed by the backpack. If you want, you can lift the backpack up a little bit if you want to get a little bit more waist swivel, but I think it's fine at, you know, whatever, close to 40 to 45 degrees. His hip skirts do flip up. None on the side, but you don't really need them for the side. The side can go up like that. Like that. They are softly ratcheted going outwards, friction going forward and back. We saw the thigh swivel before. He does have a better than 90 degree knee bend. And then his ankle is on a couple of hinges, so that one joint that we saw a transformation, as well as a screw for his actual ankle itself. His toe is articulated separately from his kind of interesting, weird heel. But that's really it for robot mode articulation. Let's go ahead and get into transformation. So let's close up the fist first. We're going to take care of all this stuff on the back. So let's just loosen up this entire backpack. Lift this up from this hole here. Pull that down. And let's just deal with this. So the first thing we'll do is bring this up. Remember, it's on the sliding joint, right? So remember to slide this all the way forward. Get these pieces that were like this straightened out. Flip out these pieces on the side. And then collapse it back in. Those tab in. Like so. There we go. Alright, this piece, we'll just go ahead and pull it out like that. Rotate the spoiler. And just fold it up like this for now. We'll give you more room. Close these up. Flip open the head back panel. And then what we need to do is actually get this chest piece untabbed. I find it a little bit easier to do after you loosen these pieces. The reason being is then you can kind of rotate them around and kind of get underneath here, because these are pegged in up here. So just flip this up, rotate these around, fold up the little die cast pieces, the hooks, and then expand the chest, or the abdomen, I suppose. From here, you're going to want to bring these arms up like this. And these will tab in there to these circles. Let's worry about that in just a second. Let's open up the fist first. And you want to make sure that, of two things. One, you want to make sure the fist is rotated so the flat side's facing up. That's very important. You can't just rotate them however you want. And secondly, you want to have this collapse backwards like so. So this kind of double joint goes like that. You're going to want to bring this backpack piece up just a little bit, and you'll see these little holes here that go into the spine. So the first thing we'll do is go up and peg these pieces in, like so. Then we'll just kind of do this by feel. Come on. There we go. There we go. Now you can bring this forward like this and peg these in right up here. So the front's pretty much done. Make sure to have these flat. Going down to the lower body, let's rotate the waist, rotate the thighs 180 degrees, and then we'll deal with the legs one at a time. So the first thing we'll do is untab this from here. And this section is a little hard to get, but go ahead and get your fingernail underneath there, go like that. Bring this up. I'm gonna fold this piece all the way flat in. Same thing for this section here. Remember to extend it so you get out of the way of the exhaust pipes. And this piece will go backwards like this. The leg, go ahead and fold up the foot. You're gonna wanna angle it like this, and then tilt the foot like so. Coming to this piece, extend the telescoping piece, fold it around, and then back down on that telescoping piece, and then fold out the window. All right, so then fold the foot like this. So you have to have this piece extended all the way. So it's not supposed to be straight, it's supposed to go all as far as you can with this lower piece, and then angle this back the other way. So it's parallel here, but this arm is not. This is going to be very important, so pay attention to that. Lastly, go ahead and extend the knee telescoping piece and fold this around. This is going to come in. So this is why the hands need to be flat, because the foot needs to slide over top of it. And you'll see on this foot, here it might be easier to show here, there's a little round indentation. That's where this piece is going to fit into place. So you need to do that. And if you do that correctly, you'll be able to get this piece all the way in. Oh, so this is not going to work until I extend this piece like that. Sorry. Because you need to get this piece here, this double hinge, flattened. So once you have that, you should be able to slide all this in. So right now, that's correct. You can see the foot basically lines up to the back of the head through this windshield. You might not be able to see it, but basically the front edge will kind of overlap it. And that will allow this to collapse in all the way, and it will ultimately allow this piece to sit flat. So let's do it again on this side, just so you have it. Let's go ahead and pull this piece out. If you can reach it. Come on. There we go. Open this up. Fold this in place. Store this away. Hold this around backwards. Going with this foot. Telescope. Extend. Telescope again. Extend. And the foot here, once again, will fold up like this. Telescope the knee joint. Bring it all the way around. Like so. And again, it's got to go over the fist. And when you collapse it in, this round piece, this round indentation should give way. I find it a little bit easier to kind of get stuff in with maybe a spudger tool. But if you did it correctly, and you'll see through the windshield, the toes will be actually touching the head. Alright, so from there, collapse this down. You need to pull up on this just a little bit. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's fold this down first. Fold this into place, like so. You're going to want to pull on the bumper to get it over and around. Then you can collapse those pieces in. So if you did this correctly, all this should kind of line up. You can fold this down. Yeah, this should sit pretty flat right up here. And then this piece should sit pretty flat back here if you have it all done correctly. I think this piece is a little misaligned. I think it needs to go in just a little bit more. I'm just going to shove that in like so. Yeah, that's why this little cover piece is actually kind of useful. You can shove that in like that and close this up. And again, that will allow you to get pretty flat here and pretty flat on the top. Otherwise, you might have trouble like even collapsing these pieces in. So I know that was a really long explanation, but it's really important to do that. Otherwise, you're going to get really frustrated with your transformation. Yeah, so once you have all that done, don't forget this piece back here. You just tab that back in. Yeah. So that's it for transformation back into alt mode. So final thoughts on this guy. Crackup is actually really nice, and given the price that they priced this first figure at $40, you'd be kind of crazy not to at least get him. Even as a standalone figure, I think he's easily worth $40. It seems like the follow-up pieces will be priced somewhere in like the $60, maybe $65 range. I'm not exactly sure, but even at that price, for a third-party masterpiece figure, is really cheap. Not to mention the fact that it's part of a combiner set. That said, I'm not really sure how this is all going to combine. There's no real obvious mechanism for combining this, and from what I'm told, like the arm pieces may actually be faux pieces or just like part of the frame. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see, but there's no real evidence from what I've seen so far of how some of them actually transform into arms and legs. Like the legs are easy, they're just kind of like, you know, tab on, but the arms, I'm not really sure how it's going to work. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, for $40, definitely pick this guy up. The only other qualm I really had was the paint. I really would have preferred just a pure white color that, you know, anybody with a Lamborghini would actually, you know, choose their color, their car to be, not this kind of weird peachy color. But yeah, that's it for today's review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below as always. If you liked the video and it helped you out with transformation or your buying purchase, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. But that's all for today, everyone. Hope you have a good one.